If a big customer churns at your company, you're probably going to do a postmortem. You're going to look at what went wrong in your process. You're not going to blame them for leaving. And if a new hire doesn't work out, you start to ask yourself if you set them up for success. But when your co-founder or your business partner, someone that you work closely with, does something that just drives you crazy, you just tell them to stop. Or maybe you say nothing and just hope it's gonna change, even though it's the 53rd time that they've done it and you've gone through this pattern. The truth is, you wouldn't treat a customer or a rock star new hire the same way that you treat your co-founder. And in this video, I wanna show you what that's actually doing to your business and what you should do instead that actually works. As a 3-time startup founder turned executive coach, I work with dozens of companies that have dealt with co-founder conflict. And this is one of the most common patterns that I see. Co-founders giving tough feedback to each other, not getting the change they want, and just getting increasingly more frustrated. So what's going on here? As a founder, you probably are used to using pretty critical and harsh negative self-talk with yourself. Most founders are tough on themselves. A lot of us got where we are by pushing ourselves through that critical voice. And in small doses, it does work. Honestly, that is a video for a whole nother day. But the thing is, the more you work with your co-founder, the more you start to see them as an extension of yourself, which means you're going to start talking to them the way you talk to yourself. And even if you can handle your own negative critical voice, and maybe they even have a critical voice of their own, it does not feel the same to have somebody else talk to you in such a harsh way. When it pops up in your own head, it just feels so familiar. You metabolize it. It feels very natural. But when it comes from someone else, it just hits different. The reality is you probably became a founder because you didn't want to work for someone else. You didn't want to have someone else telling you what to do, giving you feedback, saying what you're doing isn't right or what you should do instead. And I bet your co-founder feels the same way. And the research on this is pretty damning. Dr. John Gottman studied couples conflict for decades. What he found was this powerful ratio, which is that the couples that ultimately stayed together had a 5-to-1 positive to negative ratio in their interactions during an argument. Meanwhile, the couples that didn't stay together had a 0.8-to-1 ratio, meaning they had less positive interactions than negative ones during their conflict. So every time you say, "You're not doing enough sales outreach," or "Why are we always missing launch dates?" without adding anything positive to it, you are pushing that ratio in the wrong direction. And by the way, that 5-to-1 positive to negative ratio is only during conflicts. During more happy, calm, peaceful times, there's actually 20 positive interactions for every 1 negative, just in case you wanted to know. And unfortunately, it does get worse. When it comes to periods of stress, which is like basically every day at a startup, people start to become hyper vigilant for negativity. Gottman calls this negative sentiment override. What this means is your co-founder stops taking your neutral comments at face value. They start seeming negative. And even positive interactions are often missed. In one study, unhappy couples only caught 50% of positive interactions, even when they could be obviously seen by an outside observer. Think about that for a second. Even when you do try to say something positive, your partner might be missing it half the time because they're stressed and they're familiar with you saying critical negative things to them. That makes hitting this 5-to-1 ratio even harder. To put it in a technical metaphor, your co-founder's training data has become so negative that their classifier reads even neutral inputs as threats. Okay, so maybe you're thinking, why can't they just handle this like an adult? They're too smart to need all this praise just to do the right thing. But if you think about it differently, if it was so easy to make this fix in their habits and their behavior, they would have done it already. They're not stupid, like you said. They do work hard, as you know. And somehow this is still a sticking point. This is still something that's not working for them. And we can't discount the fact that sometimes criticism itself creates its own resistance. Don't tell me you haven't felt it. You are meaning to do something, but as soon as someone tells you to do something, then it's just like, well, screw you, I'm not gonna do it. And that becomes its own obstacle that you have to overcome. The harder you push, the more they dig in. And what I found from working with co-founders in conflict is that this concept I call supportive trust comes from the shared experience of being there for each other. It's about knowing that your co-founder genuinely values and respects you. And it's from this solid foundation that requests for change can land and actually be implemented. Without supportive trust, every piece of feedback feels like an attack. With it, even tough conversations become workable. Supportive trust can be built in a lot of different ways. Going for one-on-one walks with your co-founder, getting dinner once a month, doing something fun socially that's outside of work, having inside jokes and topics that you discuss that bring you joy and laughter. But a big piece of this is going to be positive affirmations and encouragement. Instead of looking for what your co-founder is doing wrong, try to find what is right with your co-founder and call it out, acknowledge it, make sure that they feel it and see it. This is what builds that baseline of appreciation, and change becomes a lot easier from there. Okay, so here's how you put this into practice. This week, look for 5 things that your co-founder is doing right and say them out loud. Maybe it's something like, I appreciate you flagging that you were blocked on the API integration instead of just sitting on it. I saw that you followed up with the design contractor on your own. That made things a lot easier on my end. Thanks for being hands-on with the new engineer's ramp-up. I noticed that you've been a lot sharper and tighter on sprint planning lately. It's making a difference in our velocity. None of these statements are about being fake nice. It's still important to share feedback, to call out when things could be improved in your process in the way that the two of you work together. But you're going to get a lot further reinforcing the behaviors you want to see rather than just flagging the mistakes. Look, startups are really, really tough, and they don't need to be made any tougher. You and your co-founder should have a relationship where you feel you gain strength from each other, you gain support from each other, you feel good when you spend time together, because everything else about your business, the market, competition, investors, operational problems, all of that is stressful enough. There is nothing wrong with and a lot to be gained from acknowledging what your co-founder does well, especially if you've maybe been taking them a bit for granted lately. You all have sacrificed a lot to get where you are today, and you're gonna have to sacrifice more in order to get where you wanna go. Even if you think that they should know that you value them, it still matters that you say it. It matters a lot, maybe even more, that you keep saying it. So look, when you try to force change under duress, it rarely sticks. But change that's built on a foundation of trust and respect, that holds. When a user can't complete a flow in your product, you fix the UX. You don't tell them that they should have figured it out. Your co-founder deserves that same thoughtfulness. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, okay, but there are some past conflicts that we still need to resolve, or there's some baggage and some bad history that we never really talked about or processed, there is a specific protocol from the Gottman research for working through regrettable incidents without getting back into the conflict. I'm working on an entire video to walk you step by step through that process. Make sure to subscribe so you get it in your feed.